Evidence schmevidence. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. If you followed Liberals on Twitter on Monday, you would have seen them tweeting up a storm about how the long-form census is back. There was elation across the country as Liberals realized that they would once again be allowed to tell Statistics Canada very private details about their lives, about their homes, about renovations recently done or not done, all under the threat of going to jail if they didn't do it. It made them orgasmic, I would have to say. Even had Liberals standing up in the House of Commons asking their own party questions and getting very odd statements about evidence-based policy in return.
Science and data are the cornerstone of good public policy. Canadians expect us to make informed decisions based on reliable data. This is the role Statistics Canada has been fulfilling for many years with their census program. The data collected through census survey helps policymakers and planners make decisions on everything from public health to transit to housing. Can the government tell the House what we can expect with the return of mandatory census program this year? Thank you.
Minister of Economic Development.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the honourable member from Richmond Hill for his efforts in supporting good data collection. And I'm proud to say that my first official act was to reinstate the mandatory long-form census, Mr. Speaker. Today, census letters and packages are being sent to all Canadians from coast to coast to coast. Canadians will have access to high-quality data that truly reflects the needs of our communities and businesses, Mr. Speaker. After 10 years, evidence-based decision-making is back, Mr. Speaker.
So are the Liberals all about evidence-based policy? No. Earlier in question period, Mark Garneau, the Transport Minister, was asked by the NDP's Nathan Cullen about the issue of a tanker ban off of BC's northern west coast.
British Columbia's north coast is an incredibly beautiful place, famous for the power of its people. This Prime Minister and his Transport Minister twice joined with us and the people of British Columbia to ban all oil supertankers off that coast. And asked about the threat posed by Enbridge Northern Gateway, he said, and I quote, "I will not be approving this pipeline." Will he now stand in his place and finally tell British Columbians when he will finally introduce a legislated tanker ban off our beautiful coast?
Minister of Transport.
Mr. Speaker, as everyone knows, I was mandated to establish a formal moratorium on crude oil tanker traffic on the north coast of British Columbia. I am doing this in concert with my colleagues, the Minister of Fisheries and Oceans and the Coast Guard, the Minister of the Environment, the Minister of Natural Resources. We are proceeding with consultations with First Nations and with environmental groups and with the shipping industry. We're doing our homework. When we have something to say, we'll say it.
Now, where is the evidence for this? Where's the government studies that say this has to be done? Because, well, previous government studies said it was safe. Previous government studies said there is little risk and the risk can be mitigated. But the Liberals, they didn't do another study. They didn't point to evidence-based policy to drop and ban tanker traffic off of BC's northern coast to effectively kill the Northern Gateway pipeline. No, they made an announcement. They put it in Garneau's mandate letter, and in fact, that's what he cites as his reasoning for doing this. It's in his mandate letter. He doesn't cite policy. He doesn't cite evidence. He cites his mandate letter. It's much the same as when they decided to, well, cancel the idea of expanding Toronto's Island Airport. It wasn't based on evidence because the evidence supported the idea, the proposal put forward by Porter to do a small extension onto their runway to allow bigger, yet quieter, more fuel-efficient and environmentally friendly jets. But some locals opposed it, and that's why they said no. Had nothing to do with evidence. But if you go back to that question that was asked, they were talking about public transit, they were talking about housing, they were talking about social policy issues, because that's where the Liberals want the so-called evidence. They want evidence to be able to spend more government money. They want facts that they can use to justify this program or that. That was their argument against getting rid of the mandatory long-form census. We didn't really get rid of it. We just took away the jail time, expanded the sample. The evidence was still there. For some reason, the Liberals have an odd fascination with threatening to put people in jail if they won't give you the right information. But trust me, it's not about evidence. That's not how Liberals make policy. Not on Porter Airlines and the Island Airport, not on a tanker ban off of the West Coast, not on whether to have deficits or surpluses or a balanced budget. No, it's about ideology. It's what it comes down to. It's too bad they just won't admit that little bit of fact that we have the evidence on.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.